What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Thursday. Going to have a really good conversation about the present and the future and how that impacts the Titans quarterback position and the head coach with Will Levis and Brian Callahan. Going to have a really good conversation, I think, because I think the Titans fan base is kind of stuck on this seesaw of emotions of like not really knowing what they're supposed to feel. And if you watched last night's Survivor episode, you saw a lot of this guy. So we'll talk about that here in a second as well. So a lot of good stuff here. We'll hear from DeAndre Hopkins. We'll hear from Callahan and Will Levis. We'll also talk about the right tackle position, as we've got a little bit of a different week because the Titans don't play on Sunday. They play on Monday night. And I immediately see Trey saying no spoilers, no spoilers. Well, Trey, stay out of the comment section.
You gotta watch on Wednesday, bro.
Yeah. Look, I had a hard time. We'll talk about it in a second. But no spoilers coming in from Trey. Too late, apparently. But let's get this thing off and rolling before we get the Magic Bucket. The Magic Bucket will wrap up the show. So, Sam, welcome in. Hope you had an enjoyable night last night watching episode 2. Let's get this thing off and rolling.
Yeah, let's do it. This is a really good conversation, I think. Expectations. That is the word of the day for me. That is the word that I think is important for Titans fans everywhere as we dive into week 4 and the rest of this season, figuring out where expectations need to be and what standard we need to hold this team to given those expectations. So, Austin, I think this is a really important and fun conversation. Before we get into it, make sure everybody watching shares the show this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, take the YouTube link, send it to a Titans fan in your life. Let them know that A to Z Sports is live, talking Will Levis, talking Titans. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button in the bottom right corner. That's the best way to get the word out there and support A to Z Sports before we kick it off on a Thursday morning.
Yep, we'll soon officially welcome in the A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you. Like Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. You can do that by getting a quote using our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ, and TDOT. Be part of the solution to keep Tennessee beautiful and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee. Nobody trashes Tennessee.com. So King VC immediately comes in. Lock in, like the show. So make sure you hit that like button. And then Orlando says, Sam, you dirty dog. And that was kind of not a direct quote from me to you before we went live, but a very fun episode of Survivor 47 last night. Trey's already asking for no spoilers. I see a lot of people in the chat very engaged in the viewing of episode 2. But Sam, I'll kind of toss it over to you for I know you're drinking Red Bull throughout the show. No free ads, but sometimes you need it because I have a feeling Wednesday nights are going to be interesting.
Well, yeah, I'm on the hot seat. I ran out of coffee. I ran out of K-cups and woke up this morning to go get some coffee and went, uh-oh. So, yeah, well, I went, once or twice in the episode last night as well. I ended up having to walk across the street to the gas station to pick up some Red Bull and get a little bit of a pick-me-up. But, yeah, it was a fun episode. I had my family in town, like you said. And then a lot of these episodes are just giving me a little bit of adrenaline. Like after it airs, you get this little bit of adrenaline. So sleep is hard to come by on Wednesday nights. Yeah. It's just not easy to get myself to go to sleep. But hey, the show must go on. We got a team to talk about here. So Thursday mornings, Red Bull coffee, whatever it takes, I'm getting through it to talk some Titans here.
Just hopefully no pipe bombs, no Red Bull vodka combo on Thursday morning. Correct. That would be something wild. But my thoughts. I've never done one of those in my entire life. I feel like I witness a heart attack every time I see somebody do that. But look, last night was a lot of fun. It was a very fun episode. If you did not watch it yet, do it. I think a lot of people are going to be really excited to look. Sam's good TV last night, which look, we knew Sam had the ability to be good TV because how he interacts on the show every morning that he's on. So, all right, let's dive into this here, talking some Titans and talking about Will Levis. And what I think the Titans are doing is they're putting you guys, the fan base, into a weird spot because you've got a lot of money spent with this offseason. You've got a new coach. You got a stadium that's being constructed next to the old stadium that's causing traffic and logistical problems on game days. But you're seeing a lot of this. Ooh, you got excited. Like it was a very much an exciting preseason of this team could push for a playoff spot. Are they going to win 9 games, 10 games? Are they going to be the surprise of the league? And now they're sitting at 0-3. And with Will Levis leading the league in turnovers, the Titans worst in the league in turnover differential. And that doesn't even include the block punts given up. So here is Brian Callahan yesterday at his press conference talking about the balance between patience and winning right now. So here is the head coach.
With the strain of wanting to give Will patience, needing to give Will patience, any young quarterback to grow, and needing to win game.
It's a delicate balance because it's still at the end of the day a business that we're all involved in that is production based, and we haven't produced enough yet at any point, and you still have to take that with a grain of salt because there are things that we do have to get better at and that aren't immediate. But I'd say there's an urgency. There's an urgency to get the things fixed that need to be fixed and make improvements fast. And again, I think that's what makes teams good in this league is how quickly you can fix an issue and how urgent you are to get it done. And you only got 17 weeks to get it all done. And so that's our goal is to fix as much as we can fix as fast as possible.
It's urgency, right? And I actually liked how Paul Kuharsky phrased the question because it's not just Will Levis, it's any young quarterback. Because you're looking at Carolina right now, they were staring 0-3 in the face if Bryce Young's played, but they pulled the trigger quick and Andy Dalton went in there and won a football game and put up a bunch of points. And so it's that balance between trying to set up your young quarterback to succeed so you can understand where you sit, but also, man, you're 0-3 because this guy's turned the ball over a lot. There's a lot of other problems that we know that go along with that. But Sam, what's your thoughts on the balance of patience and winning between the present and future right now for the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, I think it's the question of the year, like as we currently sit here right now, is trying to figure out what the patience level is from Titans fans, but what the patience level is from this Titans coaching staff. Because like you said, I do feel like the expectations for the season sort of shifted as we went through the offseason. Like we talked early in the offseason about, hey, you're making all these moves. This is great. This will give you a team to show you what Will Levis is. And then we get, oh man, sorry. It's all that Red Bull. But we end up getting a little bit deeper into the offseason, a month or 2 months, right? And the Titans make another addition. They look pretty good during training camp, or they look good during this portion. And this idea starts to creep in the back of everybody's mind. Well, hey, can this be a surprise team in the AFC? Can this be a team that is frisky, that wins some games, that maybe fights for a playoff spot? Like that was the conversation that we had heading into the year. And now that you've been humbled so quickly at an 0-3 start with a lot of moving parts, you have to look in the mirror and really assess where you are, what the expectations are for your team, and what's most important for your organization. I like that you brought up Carolina because Carolina is an instance, right, of putting Andy Dalton in led to a win, led to more success on the field for the Carolina Panthers, and yet you can still make the argument it was a bad move to bench Bryce Young because what is Andy Dalton for you and your organization moving forward, even if you're winning more football games? So I think it is a great question. I'm not sure I fully have the answer, and this is why we need to kind of break down, and I'm curious to hear how the fan base is feeling.
Real quick, here's David says if the Panthers are moving on from Young after the season, they're not doing their franchise any favors by having Dalton start and possibly win 5 to 7 games.
Like, and the draft is a factor here. And Austin, the thing that I've talked about kind of at length on either this show or Titans at 2 or Primetime or whatever is the leash that teams have on year 2 quarterbacks, specifically year 2 quarterbacks drafted outside of the first round where you
round 2 or 3, right?
I mean, it was like the day 2 quarterbacks that start during their rookie year for a portion of time that then start for their entire second year. The leash is generally your second year, and you have to prove yourself in that second year. And there's kind of all sorts of variance between Jalen Hurts to like Davis Mills of, like where you fall on line as that guy. Where does Will Levis fall on that spectrum? I don't know if we have that answer yet, but I think, this is certainly for me the main focus of the Titans right now as we sit at 0-3.
Right, because I don't think Mason Rudolph changes the win-loss record in any of these 3 games, to be flat out honest. I don't personally think
Chicago is the only one for me. Like, I mean, I just think
maybe
because Levis
the defense was so damn lights out.
Levis didn't do anything exceptional in Chicago. Really, the Titans offense didn't do much, and they lost that game because of the forced turnovers and stuff, and specifically the pick 6. And a guy like Mason Rudolph, who, by the way, never thrown a pick 6 in his career, a guy like Mason Rudolph in Will Levis's spot probably manages that game and gets you a win over the Bears. I don't think he changes the outcome against Green Bay. I don't know about the Jets. The Jets probably not. I think they're probably 1-2 with Will Levis.
With Rudolph.
Yeah, sorry. 1-2 with Rudolph.
I don't think Mason Rudolph throws a touchdown pass to Chig in the Chicago game because that was a covered.
Decent point. Yeah, it's a good point.
I don't think he even lets that thing go. But so, all right, let's get to this a little bit because I do think this question is very interesting because we're already sitting here and we're not even to freaking October yet. And we're like pre-show meetings and conversations are like, all right, how do we ask the audience this question to get the right type of conversation flowing? Because so many people are either like all out or just still all in. I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic of where we're at with the Titans fan base in time right now. And so this is the question we're going to ask you guys. What does Will Levis have to do to start the process of winning back Titans fans? What does Will Levis have to do to start the process of winning back Titans fans? We're not talking about like, what does he have to do the next 3 to 4 months? I'm talking like, what does he have to do right now to just start winning
Miami,
back over?
Right? Like Monday Night Football. What does Will Levis have to do?
Yes, I am very fascinated to see what people have to say about this. But real quick, let me tell you guys, next couple of days, telling y'all about Factor, because Factor meals, we talked about them back in the winter or spring, whatever it was. Factor can help you out with your dinner planning, your meal planning. And I've used Factor even after we started our relationship with Factor. Had a couple meals come by. I get 6 boxes in a meal. Allows me to have some quick lunches or quick dinners on hand. All they have to do is go into the oven for about 9 minutes at 375, and then you open it up, you throw it in a bowl, and yeah, it's really damn good. I've tried several of these different meal services, and Factor by far has the best nutrition and the best flavor with the easiest way to prepare, which is basically no prep. So Factor is doing something right now where they're giving you guys an opportunity to save 50% off your first Factor box and get free wellness shots for life. That's when you use our code ATOZ50. That's ATOZ50, but you have to go to factor75.com and use that code ATOZ50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life. Those wellness shots are very good at factor75.com, but you have to use code ATOZ50.
Today's show powered by BetMGM. BetMGM is the sportsbook born in Vegas. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up with BetMGM and get up to $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet if your first bet misses. That's ATOZ Sports on the BetMGM app for up to $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet in your account if your first bet misses with the sportsbook born in Vegas, BetMGM.
All right, so Sam, we've asked the people here this morning, what does Will Levis have to do to start the process of winning back Titans fans? Not all the way, not the next 3 months, but what does he have to do to start that for you to maybe make you start to think, okay, What's this look like in the future as the Titans are trying to balance finding out the patience with Will Levis versus winning football games right now.
All right, let's go to the chat. And I'm sorry, I can't, for whatever reason, this time of year, man.
Hey, it'll all be fixed November 3rd.
Is that the case?
Yes.
Why is that?
Fall back.
Oh yeah.
The sun it'll change.
The
time will change, and your blinds.
I've adjusted the blinds every which way, and they're just not cooperating today. So here we go. Sean says, be competent. We've got cut down on turnovers. Ashley says, just win. Stop turning the ball over from Yuri. We've got decreased turnovers while keeping up production. Rally his team back. Get a win. Just one. Play a game with no turnovers. No turnovers. Win a game. Simple. Move the ball down the field looking competent. I'd argue they've moved the ball down the field and have looked competent.
Until they look incompetent and turn the ball over.
Until they turn the ball over, but they've moved the ball. Stop the boneheaded mistakes, play turnover-free game, more touchdowns and fewer turnovers, win a football game, period. Throw to DeAndre Hopkins. He did that last week.
Quite a bit.
Stop turning the ball over. Levis has to stop getting his wires crossed and show himself able to be poised and composed under pressure, sustain drives and secure the ball, no turnovers, stop turning the ball over, win and no turnovers, smart decision-making, ball security, win, baby, turnovers. So we get two main answers here, Austin, and I love this because this kind of gives us an either or for you or me.
Yeah.
Win a game or don't turn the ball over.
I want to see Will Levis and this Titans team win a game. I think
I agree. I'm on win a game as well.
I think winning a game as God, I'm challenging everything that I believe when it comes to the sport that we talk about on a daily basis.
Right. It's process over product sometimes where it's you know what? I'd much rather the quarterback not turn the ball over and look really good. And if you lose, you lose. That'd be the traditional way of thinking for sure.
Because if they go to Miami, and we haven't gotten to the Miami quarterback situation yet, because frankly, we don't know enough to have a good conversation, productive conversation. If the Titans go to Miami and Will Levis doesn't turn the ball over and is productive and the Titans put up points and they lose and they're 0-4, I still... I know this is a Will Levis question, but I want the Titans to win a football game with Will Levis as the quarterback. And I want to see that proof because I do feel like that's where you can start to stack things together and say, okay, now you got that off your shoulders. You got the monkey off your back. Now let's take a bye week, hit that reset button, and you have a very winnable game against a struggling quarterback in Anthony Richardson and the Colts coming to your house after the bye week to maybe get two in a row. But you've got to win a football game, I think, to get the ball rolling the right direction again.
I agree. I really do. I think not turning the ball over is the overall objective for Levis, him playing better football in that way. I do think there's something about vibes, about just vibes, and going to Miami, winning on Monday Night Football, getting to 1-3, a proof of concept of here's Will Levis at quarterback and us beating Miami in primetime, I think reminds you of some of that's Will damn Levis, man, that we heard from Jeffrey Simmons last year. The vibes around, hey, we have a quarterback right now that we felt during the season last year to the vibes right now surrounding Levis and the team are very, very different. I want to get back to some of that 2023 magic. And I think a win over Miami goes a long way to doing it. And Austin, I go back to historical data that I brought up.
Okay.
Because let's look back at that list that I brought up. The day two quarterbacks who showed flashes in year one and then became starters in year two. All of the guys that I wrote about, guys like Desmond Ridder, Drew Lock, Jalen Hurts, help me out here. You remember the other ones?
Uh,
Davis Mills, Drew
Davis
Lock,
Mills.
Desmond Ritter,
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, now Will Levis, right? These are all day 2 quarterbacks, did not start to begin their rookie year, were given the keys to the car in the second half of their rookie year, showed real positive signs and became the starter in year 2, and then breaking down what they did with it. Now, some guys absolutely, just dropped the ball. Some guys had a horrible second year and were very clearly not the guy. Other guys were relatively productive and successful. And the difference between each and every one of the guys that got benched, replaced, or traded after year 2, and the guy in Jalen Hurts, who was on a team that had a top 10 draft pick, that could have taken a quarterback in a quarterback heavy class with Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, all coming out of the draft. His team traded back in the top 10, took a wide receiver and built around Jalen Hurts. And the difference was the fact that Jalen Hurts got them to the playoffs. It was the fact that Jalen Hurts had won 9 games and had his team be productive. And so even though he didn't have the best year 2, and there was many Eagles fans kind of out on Jalen Hurts after year 2 and thinking we need to take a shot at one of these top 10 guys, one of these top guys in the draft, the Eagles stuck with him because they had proof of concept of him winning. So I think the most important thing for Will Levis is not for him to play perfect football right now. That'd be great if he can go throw 3 touchdowns, no picks, Titans win. That's obviously ideal. But I'd much rather have the Titans start winning games with Will Levis as their quarterback as a proof of concept that he can be the guy and you can win with this guy than have him play well, but then be shrugging your shoulders because you're still 0-4 heading into the bye week.
Yeah, but because let's just use the Eagles Jalen Hurts situation as the example, because I did see Anthony says all those QBs you named sucked. Hurts is the only one that's average, right? And
I don't
Hurts
know if that's true though. If you look at some of the production from some
Davis
of those
Mills,
guys.
I don't
Mills
think
had a very good second year and was on a very bad team.
And they took the opportunity to draft CJ Stroud because you upgrade at that position when you have the opportunity. And you look at the Jalen Hurts situation too, and how that applies to Will Levis is the team was in a position to draft a replacement in the top 10, but they decided not to. And that draft class of quarterbacks was not very good.
But at the time, it was viewed as very good.
Yeah, hindsight, it wasn't. But they said, let's just move around and take the
we have a proof of concept that we can win with this guy. Yeah. Now, what happens if we sign a couple of pieces in the offseason, draft a wide receiver in the top 10 and make the team around him even better? Well, they go to the Super Bowl,
they also, get AJ Brown.
Yeah, well, sure. Right. But there was they made a conscious effort to kind of push their chips in around Jalen Hurts when, he had shown flashes. So I think it goes to saying, if you have draft positioning is a factor here.
Yeah.
What will make Titans fans and maybe even more specifically the Titans organization buy into Will Levis? I think it's a lot easier if you've got the 14th pick than if you've got the 4th pick, because if you've got the 4th pick and Cam Ward and Quinn Ewers are sitting there, it's going to be a little bit harder to convince your quarterback guru head coach who didn't draft Will Levis not to take his guy.
The Heath Ledger version of the Joker in me would love the Shadur Sanders opportunity.
No.
Look, it's the evil Heath Ledger Joker that is just like,
I mean, it would be fun. It would be fun for me in the locker room and stuff. Those press conferences would be. I don't know if that's a great option if you want the Titans to win.
That's what I'm saying. It's the Heath Ledger Joker.
But if you want content,
it would just be like, let's just set it all on fire. Let's walk away from the hospital, push the big red button, and it blows up as I'm grinning. That's the Shadur.
Do you want to see a magic trick? Do you want to see your Super Bowl hopes disappear?
Yes. No Survivor spoilers. The magic trick thing. How about that?
True.
So let's see. I was going to go to a comment. Where'd it go? Somebody was asking, like, it's not about Levis. It's about the offensive line. Here, Anthony says it's about the O-line at this point, not Levis. And that's
I
kind of what,
agree.
like, there's a lot of stuff, but it is about Levis. Because
it like, so I think the issues with the team is the O-line first and foremost. I've talked about that a lot. Go listen back to my prime time from Tuesday night talking about Brian Callahan's excuse of, hey, we got to cut back on turnovers, I think is a little bit lazy and doesn't tell the full story. There's an article on A2Zsports.com about that very thing too. So it is about the offensive line, but within this big overarching narrative that the offensive line is hurting, you've got a quarterback decision on your hands. And the more you lose, the louder the noise is going to get. And the closer you get to a draft, the louder the noise is going to get about needing to make a decision. And so I agree that the issue is the O-line, but it's not going to stop the Will Levis conversation from happening. And from the Titans needing to figure out what they do with their young quarterback. And for Titans fans, I think, you feel that way, Anthony. And I agree with you. I don't think every Titans fan would agree with us. I think there's a number of Titans fans who are out on Will Levis, already, ready to cast him away and see Mason Rudolph or somebody else under center because of how the first 3 games of the season have gone. And thus it comes back to the idea that you brought up at the top of the show, Austin, this idea of present or future. And do you believe Mason Rudolph helps you win games right now? I don't know, but if Will Levis has another game that he turns the ball over and you go 0-4, like maybe it does mean Mason Rudolph helps you win games, but is that even worth it? Like those are the things that are going to start becoming more of a storyline.
All right, I've got a thought on that because of another Andy Dalton Panthers parallel. Then I've also got a couple comments that I really like from the chat, and I put up a poll on YouTube, and I want to get the results from that about our first question about winning a game versus no turnovers. But real quick, T-Dot is where you should go to help the state. We all want to help the state, right? If you live in Tennessee, you probably have some pride in Tennessee and how beautiful our state can be with the rolling hills and all the different types of terrain and what we've been able to do and grow over the last 20 plus years. But the state of Tennessee has over 88 million pieces of litter on its roadways statewide. And that's absolutely insane. And TDOT spends $23 million every year trying to clean up that 88 million pieces of litter, which is even more insane. But we can all be a part of the solution by helping keep Tennessee beautiful by joining TDOT's campaign for Nobody Trashes Tennessee. How you can be a part of it: change a couple things. Stop littering. It's the easiest thing to do. There are so many trash and recycling bins around you. Just don't litter. Park your trucks when you do that. That helps cut down a lot of litter on the roadways too, because that's incidental litter right there. You've also got the ability to join local cleanups like A to Z Sports is going to be doing later on this football season. So you can do all of these things, but find out how you can be a part of the solution by visiting NobodyTrashesTennessee.com to help out TDOT and help out A to Z. NobodyTrashesTennessee.com.
Today's show powered by BetMGM. BetMGM is the sportsbook born in Vegas. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you place your first wager on BetMGM and get up to $1,500 back in the form of a bonus bet if your first bet misses. That's right. Your first bet can miss. You can lose. You can be a big old 0-3 loser like the Titans, and you can still get your money back into your account up to $1,500. Just use the bonus code ATOZ Sports on the sportsbook born in Vegas, BetMGM.com.
All right, so we get a lot of good stuff because there's a couple good comments.
We got a video to play, by the way.
We do of Levis.
We can maybe do that so I can maybe fix these blinds and quit getting made fun of for all the sun.
We played Brian Callahan talking about the patience in Levis. Let's play the other side of this of Levis about what it means for him to have the patience from his head coach.
For a quarterback, how helpful is it to have a coach that hasn't hesitated to have your back and remain patient with you through 3 weeks of some growing pains?
That means a lot. Yeah, it definitely does. I know he's got my back and I got his, and we're in this together. And I only go as far as he goes, and vice versa. So I feel like we got a great relationship in that respect. But I just got to keep doing what I can to be the best quarterback I can be for him on game days. And I know that he's working his tail off to continue to improve as a head coach and a play caller. And we've already made a lot of great strides in that area in our dynamic throughout the past few weeks.
actually, that I'm glad you teed up that video, even if you needed to do that for a self-serving reason. It actually does fit where I was going to go with the Carolina Panthers parallel, because Dave Canales is a first-year, first-time head coach coaching the Panthers, right? Working with a young quarterback that was awful, off to an 0-2 start to his head coaching career record. Brian Callahan, first-time head coach, first-year head coach, an offensive guy working with a young quarterback who's off to an 0-2 head start, now an 0-3 head start as well. Dave Canales has seen and been a part of helping quarterbacks change the narrative on themselves. He did that with Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. He's done that with Geno Smith a couple times before. So if Dave Canales is also, maybe he benches Bryce Young to put in Andy Dalton and say, see, ownership, crazy David Tepper, who is crazy. I'm good at what I do. Here's the clear issue. Right.
And remember, David Tepper, you're the reason that we didn't draft CJ Stroud, because Josh McCown wanted CJ Stroud and you got in the way of that.
Yes. So I think that's what a Panther situation is. Now, Will Levis just there talking about the relationship and the trust that he has in Brian Callahan. And Brian Callahan wants Will Levis to work out. Like, I think that would be the easiest route for Brian Callahan as the Titans head coach to make the playoffs, win the division, contend for a Super Bowl, all that stuff that everybody has as a goal. But what if, and this goes to a couple of comments that we got here. Andre had a super chat. If I can click over to it. Andre says, can Levis be what he's never been at this stage, where he's still turning the football over like he did in college? He's showing flashes, but he gives you a little bit and he rips it back away because he's got all the ability, the skill set, but his decision-making will hurt you at the worst moments. There's all these things, right? And Will Levis is 25. It doesn't mean he's a finished product, but he's further along as compared to the younger, like 21-year-old Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
So there is a difference there. But can Levis be what he's never been at this stage? And where does Brian Callahan's leash come into play? Because he wants to prove himself. Because Canales just put Andy Dalton out there and they put up a bunch of points and won a game because Bryce Young's the problem. While that might not help their franchise set up for the next quarterback if they win too many games, it's at least the head coach showing the ownership in the front office that, hey, I'm the guy for you. And then where does Brian Callahan get to that? And he has a owner who is way more logical than David Tepper.
I think I'm with Pistol Ramsey here. I think it's a long season, right? You can get to 1-8 and then right. I hope not, but you could get to 1-8 and then be like, hey, I'm going to make a change at quarterback. And then you can go and pick up a couple of, wins with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Right. And that would be enough, I think, proof of concept to Amy Adams-Strunk and Rand Carthon about, hey, this Brian Callahan guy's all right. He knows what he's doing. Or, hey, Amy, Rand's roster is not the problem. It was the quarterback that was the problem, and we can fix that this offseason. But I think you have got plenty of time, and that it's why, quite frankly, I was so shocked that Carolina did it so early. 2 weeks in is just crazy to me.
But what has David Tepper done? He's fired coaches after 1 year before.
True.
And Canales is like, no, not me, damn it.
Yeah, Canales would get fired if he gets to week 8 and is 0-8.
Yes.
And so he's looking out for himself.
So I do agree that there is a way longer leash for Callahan to prove himself outside of Levis. But that actually kind of gets back to the poll that I put up there, because we asked the question, like, what's the first step? How does Will Levis start to earn you guys back as a fan base? And we kind of came down to two options: winning a game or going through a game with no turnovers and having the win-loss not tied to Will Levis. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I would say, let me just ask you this question, because I think the answer to this question is yes. Do you think it is safe to say that every week of the season so far, Will Levis has improved?
Yeah. Easton and I briefly hit on that yesterday.
So I think that is one area that if you're Brian Callahan right now, you can point to as well as hey, give it time. Look at what I'm doing here. As it might have started worse than we thought. It was not quite as ready to go as we would have hoped and as the fan base would have hoped. But Levis has gotten incrementally better with every game. Saw him incorporating DeAndre Hopkins the last week. Didn't see any boneheaded turnovers. He had the pick 6, which was bad, but that was more of a quarterback play than a dumb decision sort of like play.
Yeah.
I just think you're starting to see development, and by midseason, by whenever, you'll have a better idea of like, does that progression continue, or is there a ceiling that we feel like
real quick,
hit?
Because I think some people are pushing back because I see a couple comments, and Chef Rand says, hell no. I think he's answering your questions of has he improved each year, which both of us say yes.
Each game.
Each game. Sorry. Thank you. And then Bradley says, how has he improved? And I saw somebody else say, no, like he hasn't improved. It's Trevor. He's stopped coddling Levis. He has not been good.
I think he's gotten noticeably better in every game.
And then Trevor could also still be right that he's still not good. Like you can improve and get better each game and still not be good. Like that, because it wasn't good enough to win like they were. But again, I think the offensive line might be going the opposite direction. I think the offensive line was able to run the football all over Chicago. Tony Pollard had a 26-yard touchdown run, and I don't think the offensive line has played very good at all and has gotten maybe worse. And so that is not, the quarterback's playing better by week, the offensive line not.
I don't think Levis says this is whatever this will get me roasted by the chat. But like, I don't think Levis has been bad since Chicago. Like, I think he was bad in Chicago. I don't think the Jets and the Packers were particularly bad games for Levis. I thought they were okay games for Levis that everybody else kind of played horrible. And they just didn't play well around him. And when you get your quarterback hit, you get your quarterback pressured. When Treylon Burks isn't able to come down with a deep ball down the field and lets that ball get intercepted, when you get a punt blocked, when like all of these things, right? Like, hey, there was a couple of mistakes and like turnovers in there that you don't want. But I think overall, I don't think it's been that bad.
Chef Rand says Malik is 2-0, Levis is 0-3.
Don't care.
The Packers are way better and
Levis
more proven.
Is 3-0. Levis is 3-0 as the Packers quarterback.
Or 2-0, right? Like,
right.
Yeah. I think, yes, the Packers are probably 2-0, just like they are with Malik. So again, bring back to the poll, which is more impactful for Will Levis starting to win the fans back. And I gave winning a game versus no turnovers, 63 to 64%. It's kind of bouncing around a little bit, or on the winning a game side. Like, I think it's just like win a game, like win one, get to 1-3 before the bye week, have a good taste in your mouth of, yeah, this team can do this. This team can win a game, and then come back and try to win a second game. And now you're in a spot where you actually can maybe get back on track, because we hit on this at the very beginning. Most of the offseason, the number one objective of this 2024 year was find your answer on Will Levis, one way or the other. Either he's the guy or he's not the guy, and you're moving on after the year. The worst thing is, I don't know. Like, don't end the season with, I don't know, because the offensive line wasn't good enough to evaluate it.
Well, let me say this. Because I know the chat saying right now, like my Will Levis opinion not making a lot of people happy. I kind of figured that, right? I'm in the minority with my Will Levis stance still. I kind of have been for a long time now. I don't think there is I don't know. I think
I don't know is a no.
Yeah, I think the Titans have that mentality, right? Like, I think if by the time we get to the end of the season, if you are not sold on Will Levis as the Titans quarterback, he won't be their quarterback long term. Does he get replaced in 2025? Probably depends on opportunity, right? Like, who's there in free agency or via trade, or where are you picking in the draft, and like, what does that quarterback situation look like? Or can you just run it back with Levis? But I don't think the Titans are going to do this Daniel Jones thing where you tiptoe around. I don't know, for a couple of years.
Oh God.
Wait till he has his best year and then be like, all right, screw it, pay him. You know, I genuinely believe, right? Like when it comes to a quarterback like Will Levis, who was drafted in the second round, who has been built around for this season with some veteran pieces and an offensive minded head coach who you hope is the future of your organization, right? If Rand is the future in the front office, you'd want Brian Callahan to be the future as the head coach. And they did not draft him. Well, Rand did, but Callahan did not draft him. And I don't know is a no. Like I will say that much. I will go on record saying, like, don't have me in week 17 being like, I don't know, we need to see another year. Like if I don't know on Levis, I'll be out come the end of the year.
It's almost like week 18 win over the Jags did not save Mike Vrabel's job, right? Like it was done at that point, even though you beat the Jags to keep them out of playoffs. Now I want to bring up this comment. It's not meant for an extended conversation. It's just to put something on record selfishly. Because I'm a Tennessee Volunteer. I went to school there. That's who I am, right? Jeffrey says trade for Hendo. That would be Hendon Hooker. I love Hendon Hooker. He made 2022 so much fun for me, but no, don't trade for Hendon Hooker. That is the end of that tangent. I had to put it on the record.
I thought, because I've seen a couple comments that were saying wait for Arch Manning. I thought you were going to say wait for Nico.
Look, I mean, Colin Coward yesterday said the Tennessee Volunteers are winning the national championship.
I saw that.
Like, oh God, that's bad juju.
They might.
But still, like the other, and we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? A lot. But the other thing is, what is this quarterback draft class compared to 2026, right? Because you've got Nico and Arch, who both look super promising.
That's 1 and 2 right there, right?
Yes.
I mean, like,
yeah, and
Arch Manning and Nico 1-2 is like the biggest give me of all time.
And I cannot wait for that because I know our website is going to be on absolute fire for those guys. And the good thing is there's still like 18 months before we even get to that point.
Yeah, let me say, by the way, somebody says, how would it be a bad idea? I don't think it is a bad idea. Like, I think, it comes back to what I said, right? Which is, what position are you in at the end of this year? Let's say you get to the end of the year and you're just like, yeah, Levis is okay, but he's not the guy, right? And then you have your answer that this is not the guy. But let's say you're picking 11th in the draft and you're not able to get one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks. Do not go grab Michael Penix and Bo Nix. Do let Will Levis be the quarterback in 2025 and then try and, I
don't want to do this because I have so many opinions, but we have so much time.
I know. I have
saying, thoughts.
Because
now you're like, oh, give Will Levis a third year. And now you're saying, okay, it doesn't matter what that third year is.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair because if you're like, hey, let's wait.
You're Daniel Jonesing it.
Let's wait for Nico and Arch Manning. So then we let Will be the quarterback in 2025, but then he's good in 2025. And then you're like,
start over.
Uh-oh.
You're like, dang it.
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting. Do we think Arch pulls a Peyton and stays an extra year? Now,
no.
But
well, maybe, but I would say no. Why would you?
I would probably say no, but NIL is a crazy wild card in all this because it's not like Arch is sitting an extra year at Texas for no money. He could probably get 8 figures to stay at Texas for one more year.
Yeah.
At Texas. Hell yes.
He could go to 8 other schools and get 8 figures to go become the quarterback at a different school for 1 year.
Absolutely. So that's the I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, all right, let's keep on moving forward.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
Whatever. Can we do you want to punt our second topic today?
Yes, we will punt our second topic
because I've got another question. Okay, I've got another question here. Okay. Let's talk UNLV football.
Can I do have Titans. Okay, we're on it now.
We're on NIL, so I want to talk
let me just say this. I have a comment from Amnesia and a comment from Lucas that I want to get to bring us back on the Levis conversation. But we can talk about UNLV football for a second because that is a massive, massive deal that is shaking up football. So we'll get to that here in a second. But first, the Bone and Joint Institute can take care of you. boneandjointtn.org. Whenever you get hurt in life, that's where you should turn to. I've had a couple injuries the last couple of years. I've known exactly what to do. Book an appointment at the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org. Go get it checked out. They help me out whether I need some at-home physical therapy or give me actual sessions to go to physical therapy and get my knee tendonitis or my plantar fasciitis or whatever it might be done, taken care of. They can help me out, you out, just like they did me the last couple of years. So injuries happen in life. Make sure you know who to trust. boneandjointtn.org.
Today's show powered by BetMGM. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports with the sportsbook born in Vegas and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. It's the bonus code ATOZ Sports with the sportsbook born in Vegas. That's BetMGM.com. And as you guys would have thought here on A to Z Sports Nashville, our Titan show, talk a little UNLV Rebels football.
It matters, though.
Yeah, Matthew Luka leaving an undefeated UNLV team, a group of 5 UNLV team, mind you, Austin. And the reason I say group of 5 is because of the college football playoff rules, which allow for the highest ranked group of 5 team to make the college football playoff with an automatic bid. I believe right now, well, not BYU anymore. Maybe it is UNLV that is currently that top.
They're a player. You have to be a champion as well.
Okay, so a conference champion and the top ranked. Yeah, I mean, UNLV is certainly, I want to say they were like 3 or 4 names down on the others receiving votes from the AP top 25. So just outside of being ranked, certainly in the conversation right now in the Mountain West for making the college football playoff, as crazy as that sounds for a UNLV team. But here's quarterback Matthew Luka leaving the team for what he says are unfulfilled promises regarding NIL.
So here's the latest on the story from what I understand is that he got UNLV doesn't exactly have the biggest boosters located in Vegas or not. Like they don't have a lot of money in that program. So he got paid a few $1,000s to do a couple things over the summer appearances. He has already transferred once up. He was at Holy Cross for a few years. Then he transfers up to UNLV. He's doing things. He's a good player. He cost me money by beating Kansas a couple Friday nights ago. Very exciting quarterback that UNLV has and has him at 3-0. Apparently, the most recent word that I've heard is one of the coaches, not the head coach, former Missouri head coach Barry Odom, not the head coach, said verbally to Saluka $100,000. And that hasn't been fulfilled. And so he's been, as Jeff says, he's been paid 12, not 100,000, but 12. Now that could be game check style for all I know. I don't know. But he hasn't gotten the $100,000. He's hired representation, who is not an agent officially, but in Nevada, but a representation. And so he is redshirting himself and not playing any further to save eligibility because he's got, I think, 1 more year left after.
Well, and according to him, he's got big NIL offers elsewhere now, like in this time of him stepping away.
Yeah,
I mean, if he can maintain a year of eligibility and go get his money next year somewhere.
Because the portal's closed right now. He can't do anything about it. But like Auburn and Hugh Freeze have quarterback problems. And Auburn's got a lot of money.
No, they don't.
They have a Hugh Freeze problem?
They have Lipscomb Academy's Hank Brown. They'll be okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
Defending my guy.
Anyway.
He might have thrown 3 picks against Arkansas. Got to defend my guy.
Yeah, just like you, man. What are you doing defending guys? You're just throwing interceptions. It's Hank Brown. Now it's Levis. It's all these guys throwing.
Hey, couldn't be me.
You have a type.
I threw 2 interceptions in my flag football game last week, but neither of those were my fault.
So the problem here is that this is a massive deal in college sports. And I remember I wrote an article back when I used to write things, Sam. You believe I used to write stuff for our website. Christian McCaffrey opted out of Stanford's bowl game. That was a big deal. He was one of the first guys to opt out of bowl games. And the conversation is this going to affect his draft stock? Is our NFL teams going to think he's quitting on his team by opting out of bowl games? The answer to that question is no. Nobody cares. It's a bowl game. It doesn't matter anything. Everybody's totally fine with guys opting out of meaningless bowl games and sometimes meaningful bowl games, depending on who they are. Now, This is different, right? Because this is quitting on a team before October to save a red shirt when you have a chance to change a lot of other guys' careers? This is not a meaningless bowl game in the holiday season.
Sure.
This is a chance. This is different, right? So I don't know what the NFL is going to feel like about character of quitting and redshirting yourself now.
I mean, is this guy? I don't think Matthew Saluk is a NFL guy, though.
I think he wants to get somewhere else to prove that he is. He's trying to get drafted, which he's trying to get money, and he's also trying to get drafted.
Sure. I don't know. Whatever he's going to get from NIL is, like, in theory, more than he'd probably get from an NFL. I mean, unless he can find his way onto a practice squad, right? And like, but I've got doubts about his ability to make a team. I don't know how the NFL would feel about it. I kind of side with Saluka here. I just believe, like, I saw Andre commented earlier that the team called him out for lying, or that this is, like, selfish. I've got a hard time criticizing him for this. I think, like, you know, one, why would he lie, right? Why would he step away from an undefeated team and make something up as his reason for doing it? I think he actually feels burned in this whole process, right or wrong, right? Whether the verbal agreement was something that needed to be fulfilled or not, I would say he probably still feels somewhat burned. But, like, this is the danger of NIL that we, I think, have to protect some of these college athletes from.
I just think this is a lesson for everybody. Verbal deals don't mean much. Like, you're setting yourself up to get burned if you agree to a verbal deal. Like, contracts are the way to go through things. Like, that's just what you have to do as running a business. You've got to do something. You don't do something unless there's a signed contract, because that represents commitment from both parties. And so a coach can say, yeah, we'll get you $100,000. But unless you've got that written down, I don't think you should expect that $100,000.
I mean,
like that, but again,
people are not savvy businessmen like you, though.
I know,
like,
but
people
like,
don't know that
for sure. But like, that's a lesson that's why I like NIL. NIL can be very good because it can teach lessons. It can teach kids how to deal with their taxes. Because guess who didn't know how to deal with their taxes when they got out of college? Me, because why would I need to? Because I didn't have income like this that I had to deal with. I had to learn that afterwards. But you're learning life lessons in college while being an athlete that I think, as Lucas says, is common sense. Probably not common sense to a lot of people. And so
what
I think
is common sense?
Contracts.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not common sense to 17, 18, 19-year-olds that are getting a verbal agreement from they've seen headlines, oh, so-and-so's getting this much money, so-and-so's getting this much money, Arch is getting $2 million, and Ewers is getting $3 million, and they see that, right? And then they have a coach come up to them and say, we'll get you $100,000, right? You don't have any reason to believe that you're not going to get that money. Like, I think people very much bought into NIL and the hype of NIL, and now you're seeing the dangers of NIL in a lot of ways. I don't hate this. Like, whatever. You can say whatever you want about, like, whether or not Saluk is in the right or wrong or should have expected that money or not. I have no problem with him saying, all right, I'm out. Because guess what? Nobody's going to UNLV unless he's got $100K. And I bet you he had some other offers to go play for some other schools as well. So I don't have a problem if UNLV is not fulfilling what they told him. Hey, maybe you don't owe him any money. Maybe you shouldn't have to fulfill your promises to him. But then he has no obligation to fulfill his duty to you as your quarterback. And here's the funny thing. You need him a lot more than he needs you. Because he can sit back, take his $12,000, wait for another opportunity to go play football somewhere else and make his money next year. Your team is in shambles right now at 3-0 in a year that you finally had a chance to get your football program right.
It's a tough situation. Like, I don't know who to side with at this point. I'm not saying I think Saluk is being the worst teammate in the world. I'm not saying that UNLV be damned because give the kid the money you told him you were going to give him. I don't know. I'm just saying it's interesting. And it's going to have a domino effect across college football. And this is a big deal. But
I love this comment from Alex here. Who's going into UNLV in the future? I'm not.
Yeah.
If I'm a good quarterback, like if I'm anybody with another offer If I'm on the West Coast and you gave me, here's Fresno State, here's UNLV, you pick, there's no chance I'm going to UNLV after the way that I saw them burn this guy, which is why Saluka here has the burden of like proof. Like he's the one that I think is more needed. I think this has way bigger implications for the university and for the program than it does for the player who somebody is going to pay to come play for them next year. And
Jalen Rashada in Florida went through a very public, embarrassing situation for the University of Florida's NIL for not being organized and having that play out and still play out like in civil courts. So look, there's a lot of interesting things there. All right. So that's just something to monitor as we keep on going. I do have some comments to get back to the Will Levis side of things that I think are really good. And we have NPF on the graphic. We had originally planned to talk about NPF on the graphic. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow because I think we have some really good side things to come off of this Will Levis conversation about winning versus playing turnover free. And Lucas sets us up and says, I think the receivers are like, I don't know about him, because when I talked about, I don't know about Levis. I think we can probably disagree because we've got this video from DeAndre Hopkins talking about his quarterback, Will Levis, from the post game after losing to the Packers to fall in 0-3.
After a game like this, there's going to be a lot of chatter about whether or not this team should move forward with Will as the quarterback. You know him better than most. Why should he continue to be the quarterback?
That's not a DeAndre Hopkins question, but I think Will is obviously our quarterback right now, and I love Will. So I wouldn't want anybody else out there on the field, the way that he prepares, the way he goes about his day. I love the kid, and I think he's gonna learn from his mistakes. But it's not just Will.
Right. Definitely.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's going to be much chatter like what you're saying. That it's just Will. It takes 11 people.
Yeah, there'll be much chatter, but
I know football, so I know that we have to play better as receivers. We got to make plays. We got to get open faster. We got to hold ourselves accountable.
Not everybody knows it, so that's why I'm asking you to give them that perspective.
Right.
But for you personally, what do you feel will make Levis able to bounce back and show what you're talking about as being that guy for you?
Man, just getting in the film room, but he's always in the film room. Just continue to be him. Obviously, some of those things that he made is just kind of him. Just he hasn't played 16 games. I don't know how many games he's played. 12. Exactly. He hasn't played a full season, so it's going to come with time.
I want to ask this question, Sam. Does that from DeAndre Hopkins make you feel more confident in quarterback Will Levis? Because DeAndre Hopkins is a future Hall of Famer. We know that. He said it. I love Will, right? Like, does that make you feel any more confident in Will Levis as a quarterback? But real quick, Farm Bureau Health Plans is where you should turn for your next health coverage plan. They can help you out regardless of your situation, whether maybe you're 25, about to turn 26, and you got to get off your parents' coverage plans. When you do that, Farm Bureau Health Plans can help you enter that level of the world, because it can be very overwhelming. We talked about NIL and how overwhelming that can be. Health coverage is not simple, but Farm Bureau Health Plans can help you through that process and keep it simple for you, regardless of your situation. Your growing family, maybe your family's empty nested. They've got you covered right there, and you can do everything by getting a quote by visiting our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ. Farm Bureau Health Plans, serving Tennesseans for 78 years at fbhp.com/ATOZ.
Today's show powered by BetMGM. BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets back into your account. That's a second chance to win big if your first bet misses with BetMGM.com, the sportsbook born in Vegas.
So does D-Hop's confidence in Levis make you feel more confident about the Titans' young quarterback? It's a straightforward yes or no, but I'm very curious. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm no. It doesn't. No. And that doesn't mean I'm not confident in Will Levis. But look, hey, we've all talked about my fandom a little bit before. I listen to DJ Moore step to the locker room every single day and talk about, I love Justin Fields. I love Justin Fields. I love Justin Fields. This is our quarterback. He's going to be awesome. Justin's the guy. He was about a week after the Bears drafted Caleb Williams. DJ Moore was like, hey, Caleb's different. We've got something we've never had here before. Like, you're a wide receiver. You're going to back up your quarterback. It doesn't matter if you think the guy is awesome or if the guy kind of sucks. You're going to say the right things. So do I think that's what DeAndre Hopkins is doing here? Not necessarily, but I also don't expect him to say anything else. And so for me, it doesn't change anything. I'm still confident in Will Levis, but I'm not letting DeAndre Hopkins change my opinion of that.
Fair. I think DeAndre Hopkins is being genuine. Like DeAndre Hopkins has played for a lot of really bad quarterbacks in his career too. With his
I think he's being genuine too. I think the way that he kind of snapped at the question shows that he's being genuine. He didn't love the fact that he's like, noise. What noise are you talking about that people are going to say we shouldn't have Will as the noise? Like you can tell he gets a little bit irritated with the question in a way that shows he doesn't agree with it. So I do think he's being genuine, but I also don't think a wide receiver's opinion of their quarterback should necessarily mean everybody else should feel great about their quarterback. Even though I do feel positively about Will Levis moving forward.
I think D-Hop's response to the question makes me feel like he truly thinks that Will Levis can do this at a high level. Like I'm not saying I'm not saying he's completely changing my mind, but he's making me feel like Will Levis does have that starting quarterback ability that he just needs more time. And Patricia says Diop isn't happy with Levis right now. Patricia. Damn, I got the yips. My girl P says, of course, he ain't going to say anything negative to the media. You can't be serious. I don't think D-Hop is upset with Levis. I just think they're going through some weird
I think he's upset
right
they're 0-3. I think he's upset that the
doubt.
offense is not working very well. I think, apparently Austin is right.
See, now I don't even remember what I said.
You said Patricia.
Patricia.
But I feel like I said it before, and I said Patricia, and then she said, yeah, Sam, you got it. So, all right, well, now it's Patricia, and I will correct you every time you get it wrong from now on.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think it's overall interesting. Like this Will Levis conversation is not going to go away. We have some more some comments to get to. Amnesia comment I wanted to get to earlier said it doesn't matter even if Levis comes out and throws for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in one game. People already have given up on Levis. Suddenly they're all on the Malik train. We've seen Will Levis do the unbelievable game against the Falcons, 4 touchdowns, win a game, right? I don't necessarily think it's one game that's going to get everybody back on, but I do think the Titans winning in Miami can start the process of some fans turning the page towards progress. Not everybody, but that's what I want to see. I just want to see him win a damn game.
I agree. I'm there. Start with a win, and everything else will kind of go up from there.
All right, super chats. Andre says, I'd sell the farm for Arch or Nico in 26. They're better than the 25 class. T-Mac, Burden, or Pierce, or Campbell in the first round. Build the team more. So Andre is in full draft mode.
Do we like Luther Burden as the top receiver?
I don't know. Isaiah Bond's pretty damn good.
What about that kid from Arizona with the long name?
I'm not there yet. I don't think I've seen Arizona play yet.
Oh, so. Dude.
I will say this. I will tell you this. San Jose State has a receiver that is going to be playing on Sundays. Last name Nash. That guy's a beast too.
I have to find this guy's name because his name is Tetairoa McMillan.
Oh, I have heard of him. Yeah.
Hey,
McMillan.
I watched their week 1 game or whatever. I think he had like 250 yards and 4 touchdowns in the game. And he just was not guardable and could catch anything. He was unbelievable in that game.
The opposite of Traylon Burks.
He was like, if you maxed out all of Traylon Burks' abilities in Madden and then played with him and just threw it up to him, that was Tet McMillan in Arizona's first game of the year.
Yeah, crazy. Look, there's good players. And so that's going to be very interesting to see where the Titans go with that. Another super chat before we head out of here. Elks, that's Big Ten Jeff. So Sam, I want fish tonight with some pocket rice, please. So there you go. So no spoilers.
You got to watch the show to figure out where that's from.
Yeah, no spoilers. And then I saw you favorited a comment. I was going to let you bring it up.
Oh, I just thought it was a hilarious joke.
Yes. Because I said that Auburn has a Hugh Freeze problem.
Andre says they got a freeze problem like A to Z, and I thought that was very well written comedic writing from Andre there. So I got a chuckle out of that.
There was somebody that said, I guess it was either Tuesday or Wednesday, that they figured it out, that ever since Easton Freeze joined the company, the Titans have not won a game. They were 3-0 in the preseason, 0-3 post Freeze.
That's true. Some people are starting to talk.
Yes, factually accurate. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the Magic Bucket to wrap up this Thursday show. Here we go. Shout out to our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or hit them up online. WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Magic Bucket time. And I will say it. Episode 2, season 47 of Survivor last night was very good. It was very good.
It was a great episode. It was a fun episode.
I don't think we're biased at all about it being a great episode. I think it was
I do think, like, objectively, I thought it was. I feel like the feedback that I've been seeing has been great episode of television
for sure. All right, this is going to be for. I think you've already done that. You've done the appetizer thing, right?
Maybe.
I think you have. I think we both have. I think that needs to be trashed. I'm just going to toss it.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Have you worn a tiara?
Yes.
Okay.
And it hurts so bad.
It does hurt because I want it too. So Easton needs to wear a tiara. All right. Have you named as many Heisman Trophy winners as you can since?
Yeah, that was just a couple weeks ago, and I did not do very well.
Okay, this is tough because I've done these as well. Do you have any hidden talents? Have you done that one? I don't think you have done that one.
Maybe a while ago.
Hidden talents?
Hidden talents. Do I have to do them on the show?
If you're physically able to while you're sitting here.
I don't know if I have any hidden talents then. In that case.
Singing doesn't count.
Big sneeze. I don't know. Yeah, pull another one. We keep it rolling.
I'm
get
really
one that I can do.
God, this is crazy. This just shows you we need to refill the bucket. Have you ever been told you look like somebody famous?
Yeah.
Have you done this yet from the bucket?
I don't know. I don't think so. I get a lot in the football world. I get Panthers head coach Dave Canales a lot. I get Teddy Bruschi a lot.
Young Teddy Bruschi.
When all of these are when I don't have the beard. I don't know who I look like with the beard. I get like a young Taylor Lautner. Not young Taylor Lautner, but like Twilight Taylor Lautner. I've gotten that before. So somewhere in there, yeah.
Teddy Bruschi was one that immediately happened as soon as you first started. People were like, what is this, Teddy Bruschi's kid?
Teddy Bruschi, and then the recent one's Dave Canales. I used to get Dylan O'Brien a lot as well.
Who's Dylan O'Brien?
An actor.
Oh,
I don't see that one as much though.
Yeah, I've recently seen Field Yates as well.
I've gotten that one before too. Yeah, I've gotten Field Yates. Yep, that's another one in the.
So
in the rotation. Yeah, there's a lot of sports figures, ironically, that I get.
Why? Why is that? It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be for me. I did the shower thing. Probably needs more context. Do I shower in the morning or the night? Shower in the morning or night?
Oh, this is where Sammy showers originated.
Yeah. Patrica says Austin looks like Bradley Cooper's younger brother, and that sounds great.
Don't know who that is, but great.
Ooh, okay. I've got this. It's I got to order something and then wear it on the show on Monday.
Are you going to tell us what it is?
Nope.
You're going to forget and then not do it.
No, I'm not, because I already know exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Exactly what I'm going to do. So I've got time. I don't have a meeting until 10. I've got time to jump on the Amazon and go and get something over here.
Place your order, and then you won't forget.
I do need to get those elf ears from you.
Oh God, yeah.
It's that time of year where we don't really see each other. Like it's
my fiance told me that they're around my apartment somewhere. So
I know you have them. Like I knew it was pre-draft.
I don't know if it is though.
They are.
We'll see.
All right. Well then, I will jump on Amazon and get what I need to get for Monday's show. So that'll do it. Make sure you hit that like button on the show. Like the show before you had it here on Facebook and on YouTube. That goes a long way for us. Make sure you watch season 2 last night from Survivor 47. Very, 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 very entertaining. And we'll be back tonight, A to Z Sports Primetime, live with Buck at 7. And then Sam and I back tomorrow morning on a Friday show. So we'll catch up with you guys then. Appreciate it as always.